Hello, guys. Good afternoon, morning. Thank you for joining me in another section of the Federal's Diary. This is a safe space for us to have conversations. And yeah, in my last video, thank you for everyone that watched and everyone that dropped their comment on the video. I appreciate you guys so much. I appreciate the fact that you choose to be on this page, and I appreciate the fact that you want to listen to me talk. Because there are so many pages or channel on YouTube, but you decide to log it on here. You are the real MVP, and I'm so appreciative of that. So, guys, today I'm not going to be taking much of your time. We're going to be running through. We're going to be talking sports today. Yeah, sport. We're going to be running through some of the qualifiers that happens over the weekend and the early days of this week. Talking more on the African qualification. So I'm going to be running through the groups. Let's know who is topping the groups, who looks like they are already in America, and who looks like they still have hope, and the ones also that are pressing calculators like the Super Eagles of Nigeria. To be honest, most of the focus on my conversation today is going to be talking or analyzing what could have gone wrong for the Super Eagles of Nigeria. It's quite appalling to think that the last time we were at the World Cup was in 2018. 2018, and this is like more than 8 years now, and we've not featured in the last two editions of the World Cup, and it's very pathetic or unthinkable that the giant of Africa, the Super Eagles of Nigeria, has such an amazing history in terms of football artistry, with all our players playing in top leagues in the world. The likes of Victor Osimhen, the likes of Boniface, the likes of Alex Iwobi, the likes of Calvin Bassey. So many of these guys, playing day week in week out in their leagues, turning up with goals and all of that. It's so unthinkable that they are not going to be at the World Cup. And it's crazy. I think it's a question of or the question would be like what could have gone wrong. Understand? So many people have been trading their blame. Some people said it's the Nigerian Football Federation that okay, yes. The funniest thing is that over the years, Nigerian Football Federation has always been one of the significant parts of. I mean, definitely because the tone at the top determines what you get at the bottom. Understand? So when your house is not in order, it's actually very difficult for you to get performance. But over time, Nigerian spirit, you always believe that okay, somehow we'll find our way around it. Get to the World Cup. Preparation for the last Nations Cup wasn't great enough, but we still got to the final of the Nations Cup where we were defeated by the Ivory Coast. To understand by a slim margin of 2-1. So there is that Nigerian spirit. We believe that okay, even though we didn't do so well, we didn't prepare very well, that we have the energy, we have the never say die. Like they always say, Nigeria they carry last, but see, like say Nigeria they carry last now. So guys, it's been quite crazy. So I'm going to start with that, then I'll run through some of the other leagues. So what happened over the weekend, or what happened yesterday? Super Eagles of Nigeria played against the Bafana of South Africa in a must-win encounter for them to stand any chance of making it to the World Cup. So the hopes were high. Everybody was looking forward to this game. In terms of the media, the players. We were expecting quite a lot, despite the fact that one of our bright stars, Victor Osimhen, was injured in the game against Rwanda and couldn't make it for this tournament. But we still believe that we have the likes of Tolu Arokodare, who was just signed for Wolverhampton Wanderers in England, and the likes of Chukwueze, the current African Baller of the Year, Luke Moore. We believe that with them they should be able to take the South African guys to the cleaners. And given the fact that the history between these two sides has shown that shows that Super Eagles of Nigeria normally have an edge over them. So the expectation was high. We're expecting some fire. We're expecting venom in Bluefontaine, but unfortunately, that was not what we got yesterday. It was more like asking ourselves that does this guys really know that this is World Cup qualifier and this is a must win? They started the game slowly. The pitch also was a bit bad, but this is not an excuse because definitely these guys are professional footballers, and the expectation is that they should be able to find their way around on any pitch. But that was in what we saw yesterday in the first 30 minutes of the game. It was more like our passes were not was not gelling together. The striking, the connection between the midfield and the striking on the striker that on the day, Desire was not really very smooth. It was very very slow. He couldn't connect to some of the passes from the midfielders, and there was no fluidity in the game, except from the likes of Benjamin Franklin that was really really fighting hard to silence the likes of Foster, the South African striker, the Foster who played for Burnley in England. He did a yeoman job. I must say that young man has such a promising future when it comes to football for Nigeria. Understand, and it just shows what is possible if we actually give chance to players respectful of their age and also wherever they are playing from. Nobody know Benjamin Franklin before, but that boy has shown in our recent games, starting from the Unity Cup in England, that he has a lot to offer this team. But it's like there's something wrong with the coaching and also the selection of the technical department of the Nigerian Football Federation, where we continue to rotate the same players over and over again, even when we know that these players are not really good enough for the future or for the for the place we desire for the Eagles. So we keep rotating, recycling those players. Over years now, we have seen that our midfield has been very very has lacked a lot of creativity, but we keep using the same players and expecting a different result. This doesn't make sense, and it doesn't work that way. So expectation is that the Nigerian Football Federation will have been able to create a structure in place where players are developed or players are well scouted to be able to ensure that we have players. It is very unthinkable that the most populous black nation in the world, we are struggling to get or to replace the likes of JJ, the legendary JJ Okocha, over the years. So till now, we still don't have that creative depth. Alex Iwobi, I must say, tries his best in terms of the fact that he seems to be the only one to have any creative intelligence within the midfield, the engine room of the game. Understand? We have the likes of Ndidi, who has a lot of physical presence, and Franco Yeka and the rest. But that midfield lacked a lot of creativity to unlock any defense or to stream passes to the wings to be able to connect to the attacker and do the job. So what we saw in the game was first 30 minutes was just more like the South Africans making us run. South Africans, their passes were really very effective. They know what they were doing. The guy on the right flanks was really troubling Calvin Bassey, who I would have expected would have started as a centre back, as a center back in the game. But the coach, Eric Chelle, decided to use him as a winger. Even at that, that guy showed a lot of hunger that represents the Nigerian spirit, and would have expected that if every player on the pitch also shared that same hunger to show that we know we are in a bad state, but we really want this so much, they could have gotten the result. But that was not what we saw yesterday. It was like the first 30 minutes, the players didn't know what they are doing. They were just playing uneventful football, and at the end of the day, they conceded an own goal through the captain, Ekong, who unfortunately, because he has been one of the top guys in this team over the years. But so I'm not going to blame Ekong, to be honest, because one thing about Ongo is that I know no player wants to score in their own net, understand? So that must have been a mistake. But definitely, I don't know what the pattern or what the strategy the coach wanted them to play, but definitely what they set up in the first half was not good enough. And I was expecting a lot, for a team that really knew that they had to get a 3 points. But I didn't see that energy until the later hours of the first half when Calvin Bassey, against the run of play, headed powered in the header, which actually touched his hand. If there was a VAR, definitely that goal would have been disallowed. But I mean, we had our equalizer. So my expectation was high. The momentum was already on our side. So what I was expecting in the second half was a Super Eagles team with so much fire, with so much venom, understand, ready to take down the Bafana boys. But unfortunately, the pace was slowed down. We're playing to the tune of the South African team, who deliberately or uneventfully was slowing down the game, wasting times and all of that with a lot of tax. And I think the referee of the day also allowed that a lot. There was a time a player was injured. When a Nigerian player was injured, you allow a cat to come to the pitch. But when that player was injured, understand, you allow them to waste a lot of time. And at the end of the day, you're adding just 7 minutes to the game. I don't know if that was part of South African's plan also to play, or maybe that was their 13th man advantage on the day, understand. But definitely, I would have expected that if the Super Eagles of Nigeria showed a little bit of bite, a little bit of hunger, a little bit of determination and tactical excellence from the coach. Understand, we could have prepared more for that kind of antics. What do you think? South Africa also want to go to the World Cup. They want to go to the World Cup, and they believe that getting this win or a draw or a point against Super Eagles of Nigeria was more than enough. So they will do everything possible. Since you guys cannot do the work when they came to meet you in Uyo, they will definitely do everything possible. So that game was actually nothing to write them about. Understand? The players did their best, but it was evident that their best was not good enough. The striking position was not really, I mean, even though Tolu Arokodare had some chances in the second half, understand, but it lacks that bite, that hunger that we know of Victor Osimhen. So maybe probably if Victor Osimhen was actually fit and played in that game, maybe things could have been different. But hey, Nigeria is a country of over 200 million people. At this point, we should not be relying on just one player. So those are the things that the footballer federation needs to do better. There was a press release from the from the federation website yesterday, or the page yesterday, where they were throwing blames at players, and I was actually disgusted really reading that, because in my head, I mean, you need to take accountability for the fact that you were the one that prepared this team. Understand? You are the one that, I mean, that hired the coach from Finidi George down to Eric Charles. You were the one that managed all this collaboration from day one. Understand? So whatever you put in place is what the players are going to work with. Understand? And unfortunately, we left it too late to even think of getting to this point. I mean, I don't even know how. I think we Nigerians are just optimistic people by default. We are so awful, just by the fact that we are just one win in almost seven games. We're still hoping, and hoping one win, I think five draws and one loss. We're still hoping that we are going to get something out of it. So, but definitely that kind of statistic is not good enough for anyone that wants to play in the biggest football competition in the World Cup. So it's unfortunate, for some of us that are already thinking of where we're going to stay in the United America, in Canada, in Mexico, understand, to be able to watch our darling team. Understand? It looks as if Super Eagles of Nigeria is going to be watching all that country from home. So I mean, that's a great side. As for the Eagles, in the other groups of the African qualifier, some other countries were actually turning up very well. So I'm going to run through some of the groups, starting from Group A. In Group A, of Sierra Leone that played against Ethiopia, and also Burkina Faso against Egypt. It looked as if Egypt is going to take this to the cleaners with 20 points and 8 games, and Burkina Faso coming closely with 15 points. This looks to me like a team, or like club, like countries that are ready for the World Cup. So the Salah-led team, of Egypt look as if they are actually in, I mean, they are actually in the World Cup already with 20 points. It looks as if the next 2 games may just be like a formality for them, but I think they still need to win, because if they lose those 2 games and Burkina Faso win those 2 games with 6 points, that is going to give Burkina Faso an advantage of 21 points. But definitely, I don't see the Egyptians losing 2 games. So I would say that the Egyptians are going to take this one. This one. So that is for Group A. Another group that we're going to be looking at is Group E. Had was an interesting match that was played between DR Congo and Senegal. Those two teams, they are very rich in terms of, like, their football heritage. We know the likes of the kind of players that DR Congo have around the world now. You have, the Yohane Wissa, who was a player with Brentford that just signed for Newcastle. We have Cedric Bakambu, and also Senegal with such a rich talent of talented squad, the likes of Papisa, the legendary Sadio Mane, Papagaye. The game started with Congo DR leading with 2 goals, and but Senegalese showing who they had, came back into the game and won the game back there at the backyard of Congo DR. To me, this is a team, or let's say this is a country that shows that they are ready for the World Cup. I mean, not compared to the likes of Nigeria. Uh, we don't do our homework very well, then we start calculating and all of that. So Senegalese is topping the group with a total point of 18 points. They are closely followed by DR Congo with 16 points. So this is also very close to the core. I would believe that DR Congo is fast their chance to make it to the World Cup in the next 2 games, or 2 qualifier games that will happen in October. So all fingers crossed in this group. It may be another one that we need to take a look at, but I have a feeling that Senegal will definitely be in the World Cup. And maybe DR Congo also will do it will be enough. I would do much enough to qualify for the knockout stages or the qualification rounds again. But automatically, I'm giving this to Senegal. I think they have the squad. I think they have the players. I think they have the motivations to be able to deliver at this level. So, guys, I think that is for me in this section of. I don't want to bore you too much running through. There are other groups. Understand the likes of Tunisia already qualified for the World Cup, and Morocco too. Those two clubs, those two countries are already qualified to the World Cup. It seems like we are going to have a lot of representation from the North Africa this time around. Understand? Yeah, I mean, it shows a part of Africa that really invest a lot in their local leagues, and they have players that are really ready to give it their all to play for their country. So, guys, I'm not going to be talking too much or boring you. Like I said, the focus was actually to analyze what went wrong with Super Eagles. So, as it is, it looked as if we are going to be watching the rest of Africa on the TV, I understand. And our West African neighbors, Ghana, too, they are doing well in their group, so it appears they are going to make it to the World Cup, which is very, very unfortunate, understand. So, guys, but I mean, that's what you get if you don't put your house in order or if you don't plan. When you don't plan, you fail, understand. So, it is not all about players or names against about the teams, about the federation, it's about your general approach uh to this kind of qualifiers. And hopefully, Nigeria learn from this. And next year or next season, I mean, some people are still believing, still hoping, pressing the calculator, but trust me, my mind is already off this, and I'm already looking for a club or a country. I don't know why I keep saying club. I think I'm already used to the Premier League games every weekend. I'm already looking for a country to adopt for the purpose of World Cup. Maybe I'm going to be picking England and Portugal. You may never know. And on the African side, maybe you should just tell me which country I should be supporting in the comment section. But don't tell me Ghana, because definitely I'm not going to be supporting Ghana. We are always rivals. West African neighbors, we are rivals, understand? So I'm not going to be supporting Ghana. But tell me the African country you think I should support to the World Cup. So thank you guys. Thank you so much for staying with me in another section of Fedal's Diary. Like I said, sometimes, I come here to talk sports, sometimes I come here to talk about business, sometimes I come here to talk about fashion, sometimes I come here to talk about entertainment, sometimes it's just gist and we're just sharing things. But I want you to know whichever season, whichever video of this on this page that you see, I want you to know that it's made with love and it's an opportunity for me to connect with you out there. So feel free to be part of this community. If you have not following or if you're not subscribed to this page yet, please do so by subscribing and share this page with other friends and family that you have and let them know that there is a guy called Ifedayo that cares about you. Okay, guys, thank you so much for following. Make sure you subscribe, like, share, and drop your comment in the comment section. I would really like to hear from you. Bye. Cheers.